Hi! The pillar of my healing work that I want to share with you today is probably the hardest to understand cognitively until it's easier when we're in practice together for me to point it out as it's happening to you and like show you the other option. But I'm going to give it a go. So it's divine feminine energy and power, and bringing this into your life as like the medicine that you're really needing that you didn't even know that you needed. Okay, so divine masculine is a beautiful energy and power that we absolutely need as well. The problem is that our culture has been so heavily dominated in divine masculine energy and power and way of doing things that it's been instilled in us that that's the only way. And divine masculine and divine feminine both need to be present in our lives, both need to be in balance in our lives for us to feel our best. And it's way out of balance the way that we live our daily lives in this culture right now. So it takes a lot of intention and devotion and courage and awareness to be bringing in this divine feminine energy and power to help bring balance into your life. And specifically with healing and transformation work and wanting to do anything creative or have your intuition be guiding you in your life, it can't be done through the lens of divine masculine power and energy. It won't work. So if you're trying to heal in the same way that our culture tells us you can achieve success, you're going to feel like you're failing all the time. So try to give a tangible example. So divine masculine energies are anything that's rigid or perfect, anything that's a linear, exact way of doing things, step by step, deadlines, goals, having a strategy, anything that's doing with the mind, right? Coming up with a plan, and let's see, I'm sure there are a lot of other things that I'm missing. Whereas divine feminine, really for divine masculine, any of the doing, any of action, productivity, constantly in motion, right? Doing. So the divine feminine energy is the resting, being, coming at it from the heart instead of the head, compassion, support, receiving, community instead of independence. That's another big one. And so an example of divine masculine energy in its like greatest form would be maybe building a house. You absolutely need a lot of divine masculine energy for that. There needs to be a plan. Certain steps need to happen before other steps. I've never built a house, but like you need the framework before you can put in the electricity. That makes sense to me. You need a lot of divine masculine energy to make that happen. That is not how healing works. We don't have a step-by-step plan. That's not how your intuition works. That's not how creativity works. If you are trying to force yourself onto a step-by-step plan, your body resists it and you feel like a failure the whole time. So divine feminine energy is about things being more in the present moment, for one, being able to be open to receiving, really tuning inwards instead of outwards. That's another thing, internal versus external. That's the masculine and feminine. And when you apply this lens to healing, And your measures of success are about, can I bring awareness to what's happening? Can I be reflective about what's happening? Can I tune inwards here instead of tuning outwards? Can I do whatever feels just a little bit easier for me instead of forcing myself to do something that my body is saying no to? Those are the measures of our success. So the measures of success are not about, I say I'm going to do this in the week before I see you next, and whether I did the thing or didn't do the thing. I could really care less. It's actually more valuable to us if you set out to do something specific for yourself in the week between when I see you next, and you come into the next session and say, I didn't do that. What happened was this came up instead. These stories came up. I really was resisting doing X. Like, that's the valuable part for us. So in a lot of ways with this work, the failing by divine masculine standards is actually like the most valuable pieces of our work by divine feminine standards. So it's a little complicated to describe, but maybe how you can feel it in your body is that you already know, some part of you knows that you want to be softer, to have more love in your life, self-love, love for others, more compassion, more patience, more receiving of support. And if you are craving, and this is why I post a lot about this on Instagram, if you're craving the natural rhythms of nature, being in nature is a very divine feminine. That's the energy is there, divine feminine in nature. So bringing the rhythms of nature into your modern busy life is an example of bringing divine feminine into a very divine masculine space. So complicated to describe, but it is the medicine that is needed a lot. It comes up so frequently, and even with clients that I've had for a long time, it is fascinating how deeply rooted the divine masculine way of doing things is even after we've been doing this for months, a client will come in kind of ashamed that they didn't do the intention that they set the week before. And again, I'll have to be like, that's not the goal here. You didn't fail. It's more important to us to understand what actually did happen. And can you listen to yourself in the present moment instead of forcing yourself to stick to something that we described a week ago? That could be completely outdated by the time that you're going to go do it. So can we be in the present moment, listening to our bodies in the present moment, listening to our intuition? And when we set an intention, can we hold ourselves in the uncertainty of knowing that there aren't exact steps to get there? Can we instead take one step without knowing what all of the other steps are? And follow this nonlinear, divine feminine way of doing things, where we take one step and tune inwards and find out what the next step is. And it could be very surprising. And we take that step and tune inwards and then do the whole process over again with each step, and really carrying ourselves through that with kindness and so much love and support, and choosing what feels easy and supportive to us instead of forcing ourselves to do something because somebody else said that it was the way. Right? I don't know the way for you. You know the way for you. If you can take each step and keep tuning in without judgment that it's supposed to look a certain way, where we start to really develop this attunement to what feels like clarity, even though there's not certainty. That's a big one that comes up as well. There are a lot of really juicy good ones, right? And really, how can we do this in a support system, in community instead of independent? So often we've been trained that doing it on our own is like the best way forward. Again, that's divine masculine. Divine feminine is, can we do this, interdependent with others so that we feel supported and loved? Well, I could go on forever. So already 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So if you're still here, bless you. And it probably means this work is really calling to you. If any piece is intriguing, I would love to explore it with you further. Click the link in my bio, Intuitive Woman Rising. That's my program that's open right now for enrollment, and we'll do a one-on-one call together to talk more about it. I hope you take beautiful care of yourself. Try bringing in a little bit, just playing with the idea of divine feminine, of what would be a little easier, more supportive for you today, and just see how that feels. All right, sending love from here.